Hello everyone, welcome to Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque live painting on Thursday, March 19th. We're started early at 6 p.m. Central or Eastern Central, oh my God, Central Time. Oh, okay, so we are going to go through our Hop Into Spring box, which is our March box, which shipped on March 5th. And we had some additional boxes shipped on Monday. And we're making up last week because I was out sick with a migraine. So we are working on our March box, which is an Easter themed box. So welcome everyone and hope you're doing well. Our live videos coincide with our Bisque boxes that we ship monthly to help people that don't have access to shops locally, or anyone that just wants to help and paint, or just wants to paint along and don't need help. Whatever works for you, we're here. So if you would have, when you got your box, if you opened it up, the first thing you would have found is we always have our inventory sheet. And Courtney has our bisque and everything's labeled, and we have our color list. And then inside this packet, we also have color flyers that go with the bisque if they are available from the mold company. If they're not available from the mold company, let's see, do we have them for this one? I'm not sure. I don't remember these. Oh, so and if they don't, so this box has the Easter eggs. So the Easter eggs are on the mold flyer. So if they don't have flyers, I actually type up the technique sheet for how I did it, how I painted the project. And then Courtney takes a picture of our project and she puts it all together with the color list. And so that's included in there. Then our little chick eggs, she also included that because those, let's see, I'm not sure why we did that. I think it was just because it's an extra project the way that I did it. The chick flyer, it's just our extra technique sheet. So that's right, because we had switched to doing technique sheets for all the projects that we do on the live videos, so that you have the paper to look at in case you have internet problems or stuff like that. So these are exclusive to the Bisque box. We did do the bird technique sheets for the Bluebirds and the Finches because that was an extra that we did. Because we had extra time and those weren't in the Bisque box, so we have supplied those free on. You can go to Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque.com, and Courtney has a resource tab there, and you can click on that, and then you can print them out, or you can read them right from there too. And as we go forward, we'll keep adding technique sheets to that, extra stuff. For example, our Easter box, I worked on some Easter eggs because we'll probably have extra time, hopefully at the end of the month. Can't see if you can see it. So I have a couple different techniques we'll hopefully be able to do. This one is a robin egg, so it's spattering. We're going to spatter the paint on there, and I used brown, medium brown, black brown, a little bit of white and a little bit of green, so you can see it kind of looks like a robin egg. That was the idea of that. This one on the end is my least favorite. It's the shaving cream with the paint technique. I'll have to, I don't know, make that one get a little bit more perfect. I'm not real pleased with it. It's okay, but it ain't great. This was another technique that I did, and it was just wrapping string around. Well, actually, I base coated the egg first, and then I wrapped string around it, and then you paint in the holes where the string is. It kind of has a tie-dyed effect. It's okay. It's okay. The kids would probably like doing it. It's not that great. This one is I painted it, base coated it white, and then I rubbed our silver metallic on it that was in our last box, and then I sprayed it with the gloss sealer, so it's nice little metallic egg. This one I marbled with purple and white and pink, so that was kind of the technique we used on our birdhouse, and I do like that one. This one here is my favorite one. It's the Crackle Technique. And we're actually gonna do that as an extra in our, and I think our May box when we do our mushroom. That will be an extra technique to do with the mushroom. So this is pretty neat. This is my favorite one, I have to say. And we'll be going over some of these, maybe post maybe post 3 of the 6 that you like the best. I'm thinking it's going to be these 3 on this end. And then we'll decide which 3 we'll go through if we have extra time at the end of the month. But we should have extra time to do one of 3, like 3 of them, probably not all 6 of them. So then back to our box. So you had your your flyers and your inventory sheet. I'm going to put this back together quick. Well, I can leave it. And then also inside your box, you had your stack that Courtney's got all unwrapped for me, and that's our Hoppy Easter stack. And the chalk was in there too, right? Yeah. So then all your little packages come all nice and bundled up like this. Everybody's bubble wrapped, and they got a nice little band on them and then a sticker. So this is our standing vertical egg. So let's see, we need some scissors here. So you just open your little packages up. And everything's wrapped really well so we don't have any casualties. Hopefully. So far so good. So here would be your Bisque vertical egg. Yep. So Courtney was saying we haven't had a single breakage since we started in July, which is great. So knock on wood that it keeps going like that. But again, this is our other lying egg, or our horizontal egg. The molds would be labeled horizontal and vertical. If you were looking to purchase molds, that's how you would be purchasing them, and that meaning that the hole would be on the bottom of the horizontal or the bottom of the vertical. Oh, well, no, I meant if they wanted to purchase the molds. That's how the molds are going to be labeled. And then we have our horizontal egg, or lying egg, Courtney called it, and that's because it's horizontal and then your hole is on the bottom. And then our big extra in this box is our boxes always have extras in them, and it can be glitter, paintbrushes, different tools. We've had ball stylus. This month it is the soft pastels, which are chalks. Is this one for me to open? That's mine from here, okay. So you would open this guy up. Yeah. Is this one for here?
No, it is.
Well, I don't have to open it. I'm not going to use it tonight. Okay. We have extra now because we ordered more because we had more orders. So we can still fulfill some more orders for the boxes if anyone's still interested. We got the supplies in and I'm pouring them. So this is our chalks. It's just a pastel chalk. It's just what they call it. Chalks used to come in, you could get them in little compressed cakes in little containers. I actually like those better, but they don't make those anymore. But these work too. We're just going to use it a little bit as an introduction for this box. I don't want anyone to get frustrated with using it. Basically, when you're using chalk, you base coat your bisque pieces either white or ivory, and then you would seal it with a completely flat matte sealer. It used to be the porcelain sealer, but it's now called matte by Duncan. And then you would pick an area and say it's where the blues are, and you'd put your blue on using a bristle type brush. And then you would do each little area. You would do the little area, and then you would seal it again once it's not accepting any more chalk. And then you'd go back and you add more blue and then seal it and add more blue and seal it until you get the degree of blue that you would want, or whatever color it is you're working with. and then you would move on to the next area of your piece and go to the next color. So that can be a little bit frustrating because the colors build up so slowly. So I don't want anyone to get frustrated with it. So we're going to start with our chalks really slow. We're going to use the chalk on our Easter Bunny stack. After he's painted out, we will do shading. We're going to shade in our crevices with our colors. We'll do some blushing with the pink on his little paws and on his face and in his ears. So that'll just be a real good slow starter with it. And we'll work the chalk into other projects as we keep going throughout the year. But I just want to start out slow so no one gets frustrated, because it can be quite frustrating that the color is not building up as fast as you think it should, because it's a kind of a slow process with the chalk. So we're going to go at it slowly. So that's our chalks, and it'll be fun to work with them, and you'll get used to it as we're using them, and we'll just go at it slowly and take it easy. I do use the pink and this kind of the rosy color for blushing cheeks on just about everything, so it's worth it just for that. This was a great value that you guys got in this box. It's the retail value is much more than what you probably should have spent, but we wanted to bring it into our product line that we're using with you guys. Then you also had your little goodie bag, and usually this will have extras in it, which it does. And then if there's a holiday, sometimes we'll throw in an extra treat. So let's see, what did we have in here? Huh? Courtney wants the treat. Oh, and it's because it's the Easter box, we found Easter bags. So then in here we have our little, and everything's labeled. We have our number 7, there's our bow and bow tie. This is for our chicks that we're going to make. So you see you get extra parts besides your bisque. It's not just the bisque that's part of the subscription box. There's extra pieces in there to finish your piece out. Then we have the tail for our little rooster and our hair for our little girl. And that's all also in there, and it's labeled. So if you look at your inventory sheet and you're not sure what something is, you can always check on that. Then this is a neat little thingy that I came across when I was making the eyes. It's actually just a nail, and we're going to use that nail to make our eyes instead of painting them out into a circle. So that's just another little handy tip. And then we had our little Easter egg, and let's see, Courtney filled that up with some goodies for you guys, some chocolate. So if you're stressing out when you're painting, have a piece of chocolate and take a breath and put on the video if you're not following along, and have yourself a treat. So that is our box, what was in our box this month for March. And Courtney actually base coated these darn eggs. I can't believe it. She's going to get the spirit here yet with us. So our eggs is our standing and our vertical egg, and she base coated it with the, which I didn't bring with me, the lemon peel. So if you base coat your brush, you can use a flat brush or a nice round nylon brush. A bigger brush, they're pretty good size pieces, so you could use about a size 8. And then you just go in your paint and you brush back and forth until you have a nice coverage. So we already have that part done, and I'm going to look and see if we got any questions coming on. So Courtney thinks we're good. Okay. So, and if you didn't catch the first part, if you didn't realize we were early, once we're done, Courtney uploads the video, so it'll be on Facebook. You can watch it there, or you can go to YouTube and watch it there also. And do we have our finished pieces, Courtney?
Yes.
So this was our color that they were base coated with, and I'll have Courtney type that in when she gets over there. So this is the little boy chick that we're going to make with our horizontal guy. So we use Duncan OS567 lemon yellow to base coat our eggs. Lemon peel, sorry. OS567 lemon peel. And it's just an acrylic stain. You will find that on these projects we basically use non-fired products, because the idea wasn't behind it because people didn't have access to shops, so you probably wouldn't have access to a kiln. So you will find that a lot of these, actually most of these, if not all, every one will be non-fired techniques. So that is that. And then we have our little girl with her little poofy hairdo. And she is our vertical egg. So we will, those are the two pieces we're going to work on tonight. I'm just going to set those guys aside. And then we do have the finished guy. And here's our Hoppy Easter. And he's all finished. And down in these crevice is where we do our shading with our chalk. And on his little feet is where the shading is with the pink and the blushing on the cheeks and in the ears. So that's just enough to get started. I don't want to overdo it so you're frustrated with it. We're just going to start with the chalks real slow and work our way up. So that's our Hoppy Easter. So let's see, we have our cute little yellow guys here. And what do I want to start with first? I guess we'll start with our little beaks. And for our little beaks, I used Duncan OS567 orange peel. And Cordial typed that in so everyone can see that, OS567 orange peel. And we're just going to shake that up a little bit. And I'm going to put a little bit on my foil, and you can use a tile or a little porcelain plate, styrofoam plate, all that stuff works good. So you want to look at where you want your eyes on your chicks. The boy one there's a fatter end, and then it comes to a point, the skinnier end. So I made the skinny end the tail end, and I made his face on the front end. So, the wider, the bigger end. So I have it sitting flat because I want to make sure my eyes are or my beak is in the center third here, and I don't want it off to each side. So I'm just gonna take my, what am I gonna use? Well, I'll probably use one of my liners here. Do you have the new liner that we got? The little short one? It's out there. I'll use this one because so I'm just going to start with my Royal Majestic liner, my let's see, 50 Royal Majestic liner, 4595, and I'm going to go into my orange peel, and I'm just going to load my brush up by pulling it through the paint, turning it clockwise and towards me, and that way I'll load up my paintbrush. So I want the face, I'm going to start with our little beak first. And I want it up, so let's say we divide it into thirds, and I'm going to put it at the top of the middle third. And there's no right or wrong with these, because if you want a big beak, you can make a big beak. If you want a little beak, you can make a little beak. So I'm probably doing about a half inch line straight across. And then I'm going to go about it. So I'm going to make a triangle, and now I'm going to go down about a half inch also. And if you want him to have a long skinny beak, he could have a long skinny beak. If you want him to have a little short stubby one, he could have a short stubby one. Up this way.
No, not.
Which way? Maybe move it towards me. Okay, because then I'm not reaching. So, okay. So now I have the bottom of the beak. I actually have the egg turned around right now. And you just want a little triangle here for his little beak. And you want a point on it. And then we're going to fill in our triangle, kind of straighten my line out here. And then I'm just filling it in with my orange peel. So there we have our nice little beak on our chick. So it's about, if you divide it into thirds, it's about at the top of the middle third. So now we're going to grab our girl, and it's probably the same for her, the top of the middle thirds, if you were to divide this into thirds. Maybe down just a little bit, but yet above the half. And I'll probably make hers about the same as his, about a 1/2 inch across. And then we're going to swing it around and do our point and go about a 1/2 inch down and bring it to each corner. It looks like that needs to come over a little bit. So there's no right or wrong. It's a freehand project, and it's just whatever you want to make it. Just kind of a little fun project, something to do with the eggs besides having them as eggs in a bowl. And then I'm just filling in my triangle. So there we go. We got 2 little beaks on our little birds. That's how quick and easy that is. So I'm going to go back and grab him, and now you can see his is a little bit wider than hers. Hers is a little bit longer than his. That's fine because they're 2 different chicks. Just like people, we're all different. So whatever you paint is fine, as long as you like it. Cordy says, is there a way to cheat? I suppose you could tape it off with tape and then fill it in with the tape, but you're going to spend more time probably taping it than you will painting it. So there, I just gave them a little extra coating so that they're nice and filled out, nice and covered. And then I'm going to take my water bowl, and I have my Harold's brush cleaner in there, and I'm just going to brush back and forth. Move things here a little bit, so I'm just going to brush back and forth to clean out my brush, because you always want to clean out your brushes good. So Courtney tells me I still might be off camera. We'll see. So I have my brush nice and clean, and I'm just going to dry it to a point, pulling it through my paper towel. And we'll put that aside and pull our water back. So now we're going to go to our little egg eyes. So you want those just above your beak. And let's see. I kind of have his so that the line of the beak comes right across, right even with it, maybe a little bit further out, and about 1/8 of an inch up. So to do that, we're going to use our nail, which is in our little baggie number 5 that says nail. And if you wanted smaller eyes, you could use a smaller nail, or you could use a bigger nails. So this is just a nail with a flat head on it. It's a nice flat head. So now I'm going to take my black. I guess we'll move this in so you can see that. And I just have my Duncan OS476, Courtney, for the feed line. OS476 black, because we're going to do our eyes. And I'm going to put a little puddle on my foil. And now I'm going to use this as my ball stylus, basically. So I'm just going to go straight down into my paint and just get it on. You don't need to flood it. I'm just going to touch it. And so now my paint is on my head of my nail. And now I'm going to rest my hand on the table, and I'm going to rest my egg in my hand so it's nice and steady. And then I'm going to rest my dotting hand on my egg, and I'm going to line up my nail about where I want my dot, and I'm just going to touch it, the nail head, onto my egg, just going straight down, about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch up from your beak. And I hope I got it turned enough so you can see it. And I'm just going to touch it down real gentle, just like you would with the ball stylus. And then you have your nice little round eyeball. And you don't have to line it out and paint it in. So I'm going to dip my nail back in my paint again. And now we're going to go to the other side and line that one up. So I have to look at it, and then I'll try to turn it so you guys can see it, hopefully. And I'm just pushing straight down. And so now that eye is a little bit smaller than the other one, so I'm going to go back and push it down again, get it just a little bigger. And just a little bigger yet. And there we got two eyes that are pretty much the same. So that's about as easy as you can get to do eyeballs. Courtney's giving me the thumbs up on that one. So now there is more paint on there, so you do want to let that dry. So now Jason actually made me this nice little drying stand that I'm going to use tonight. And we're going to put our little pegs where I can put my piece. And I'm just going to put him on there, and he can dry. So we'll set him aside. And now we'll go to our girl. And I'm going to just clean my nail off just to start out fresh. And I'm going to dip it in the black again, just like we did before. Just to have a nice thin layer on it. I'm going to line up my eye where I think I want my eye, about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch above the beak. A little bit past the side of the beak. And I'm going to go straight down with my nail. And I have a nice eye. So I went back in my paint, and now I'm going to line this one up on this side, and hopefully I can turn it so you guys can see. And I'm just going straight down with my nail. And there we have a second eye. So eyes can't get much better than that, or easier. So hopefully that worked really well for you guys. So I'm going to set her aside and let her dry. And again, I'm just going to put her on my little drying stand that Jason made for me. Hopefully you guys can see that. It's really nice. So it's got the nice little pegs. He's got different size dowels. They just fit right into the little holes, and you can move them around wherever you want them. He's got some shorter ones. So this would be great even if you seal something. You could take your little dowel. So this is the first time I'm using this, so these are a little snug tonight yet. Put your piece on it, spray it with your sealer, and then you could poke him right back in your little stand and let him dry. Really perfect. It turned out perfect. He did just what I wanted. Love it. So that's my little drying stand, my little latest idea. So we're going to let our little eyes dry. So I'm going to set that aside. And we will go to our bunny. And we are going to base coat our bunny with our darkest gray, which is the Charcoal AS475. That's Charcoal AS475. So what do you guys think about the little nail trick for the eyes? You could use different size nails for different size eyes. I really liked it. It was just something I come up with when I was making those guys. Like, oh, I bet a nail would work, and I tried it. And as long as it's flat, a flat nail and not a concave or convex nail, it should work. So I'm just going to put some of our charcoal on our palette here. Grab me a little brush. Oh, let's see, what am I going to go with? He's a little bit bigger. We could probably go with one of these here. So I have my Royal & Langnickel size 8 nylon painting brush, and I'm just going to, actually you want to go into your water first and get water in your brush first, and then brush back and forth on your paper towel. That way when you go into your paint, all that paint will not get up in the ferrule of your, up here in the ferrule, and then you can't get it out. So the water helps to prevent that. So now I'm just going to base coat my bunny with my charcoal. And base coating, you just grab your paint and brush back and forth. Get a nice coverage. So is everyone working on Easter projects? Winter projects? What?
They like your nail.
Cordy says you guys like to nail? Great. Now you'll have to go to, you can just go like even Walmart. You don't even have to go to the hardware store. Walmart in the, like in the hardware section, they have little packages of nails for like $2. And you can just buy different little packages with different heads on them. Or you can go to the hardware store and get them too. So I'm just lining out my bunny where he meets the egg. And then just giving him going back and forth with our gray. So let's see what else is going on. There's a lot going on. We have everything ordered for the April box. As far as supplies, the paint supplies shipped today. Yep, it's going to be here Saturday. Yep. That's good, yeah. So the paints, all our paint supplies shipped today. The Cordy ordered all the bubble wrap and the paper and all that kind of stuff today. The cardboard, so all that stuff should get here. We didn't want to go to the store and get it, and then they're out of it, so we just ordered it. See, I have the slips, so slip's not a problem. We have the molds. Molds aren't a problem. So we should be good on shipping our April box as well as the May box.
Pre-order will go up probably over the weekend.
Over the weekend. I did bring the finished pieces for the next box. They are painted up, so Courtney will show you at the end of the show tonight. And then Courtney will get the pre-order posted on the page, and then you can click that link and order it. If you are a subscriber, you will automatically get the invoice on the 1st. If you want to subscribe, you can go to Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque.com and subscribe after the pre-order's up. Is that right? Possibly. She's thinking.
I think I did put the subscription back up.
So she'll have to put the subscription back up.
I took it down because we sold out.
Yep, Courtney took it down because we had sold out of this box, but she'll be putting the subscription back up. Because I know we do have some people that did the one-time purchase of this box, and if you want to become a subscriber, you can either message Courtney and she'll add you to the list, or you can do it by purchasing the subscription on the Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque.com, and she just, as we're talking, she put it back online live. So you can purchase the subscription. The subscriptions are a good idea because we basically have a planned amount of boxes, and that's how the supplies that we order, because we order those like this chalk for this box, we ordered that back in December already. So once we ran out, we had to try to track it down to get more of it. So if you're a subscriber and we know you want the box, we make sure that you have the box because we get the supplies ahead of time. So the one-time purchases are basically for if we have leftovers, is what that was intended for. So we have enough supplies. Is it for 70, I think, flyers and everything? If we sell out more than 70, we were at 60. If we go past 70, then we'll have to close the one-time purchases. And let me see. I gotta see what he looks like. Oh, that I did. So I'm gonna do the whole. We don't have to line out his sign. We can do his sign with the gray too, because we'll go over that with the brown. We'll dry brush that with the brown. So if you are a subscriber, you'll automatically get invoiced on the 1st. If you're not a subscriber and you want to subscribe, Courtney's got that back live for you, so you can go ahead and subscribe, and that would be great because then we know how many boxes we need to ship on the 5th. If we run out, we'll try to get the extra supplies that we need and then do the second order if we're able to. So I'm going to grab some more of my gray here. So as we grow, we've been increasing the number of boxes and the supplies that we've ordered, but it's hard to know if if you have a big surge in additional orders. So, but we were able to meet everyone's needs, and we do have enough supplies for some more of this box. If anyone still wants this box, we do have supplies. I'm pouring and firing the greenware, and we'll be getting it to Courtney on Sunday, so they'd be able to ship on Monday. So let's see what else. We had some new brushes come in. Courtney posted those last night. The computer Weebly wasn't cooperating with her to get the post posted. It wouldn't upload the picture. So that went live late last night. Those are really great brushes. They're by Artist Paintbrush. They're the purple painting, nylon painting brushes, which is by the same company that made the purple dry brushes. And the purple dry brushes are what will be, well, actually the round ones too, I think we're going to have. That's the brand of brushes that will be the extra in the boxes from May through December. They're a better quality of brush. So last year in our boxes, we had two brushes per month. We're only going to be able to do one just because it's a better quality brush and it costs more. But brushes are great. The more brushes you got, the better. So we're going to do brushes as our extra item in our May through December box, and we have those ordered, and we were going to pick them up at the Ohio show, but yeah, that show's been canceled, so I'll have to get a hold of Sherry, and we'll have to we'll have to have her ship them to us. But they've already been ordered already since Christmas as well. We may have to increase that amount as we go through the year here, but they're really, really nice brushes. I've been painting with them at home, and I really, really like them. With the dry brushes, they really, when you clean them out and then they're all done, and like when you brush them through the Harold's brush cleaner, they all go back to their points, like they bounce back, I guess you could call it. They're not just like frayed out all over, and they're nice and soft brushes. So if you liked, they're not stiff dry brushes, they're nice soft dry brushes, and they spring back and hold their shape. So I do really, really like them, and that's why we have them as the extra in the box. That way you guys will get to try them. Plus you'll have a full set by the end of the year, so that'll be another great extra for the box. Let's see, what else is going on?
Oh, you're working ahead.
Huh?
You're working ahead.
What do you mean?
The mushroom?
Oh, I'm working on the mushroom, which is the May box, which is going to be glazed inside, so you can put it outside. And then we will be doing an acrylic finish on the outside, and we'll actually going to do at least 2 finishes, because the first one will probably only take 2 classes at the most, and then we can do an additional one, which will be that Crackle Technique that was on the egg, but we'll do it on the mushroom. It's Courtney's she's calling it a bonus, kind of like the Finch and the Bluebird were. So the Crackle Technique, you can buy a crackle medium to make the paint crackle like that, but you can also use Elmer's Glue All glue, which is what I did, and we don't want to have to ship that. So if you're able to go and purchase the Elmer's Glue All glue, you'll be able to do that project with us. It's fairly inexpensive. It's just that with hazardous materials and such, we don't want to mess with shipping it. But yet you'll learn that technique if you want to do your mushroom that way. You don't have to paint it the way we paint it the first time, and then you can, with the acrylics, you can just do it with the Crackle Technique, which is also using the acrylics. It's just that it has the Elmer's glue all in between layers. It's actually really quick and easy. It'd be a great kids project too. Let's see, last week I brought Courtney a cute little Easter bunny and two little Easter bunnies holding an egg. What was the third thing? Oh, the letters HOP with Easter on it. So that'll be pieces that we'll be able to ship in the box, the April box extra as Easter bisque, like we did with our Easter box. So again, once we're taking orders for the Easter box, for the April box, all these months. For the April box, if you want extra bisque in your box and it fits, you can let us know and Courtney can add it to your invoice and then you pay for it, and then we'll, as long as it fits in your box, it'll ship and we cover the shipping on it. So we had a lot of nice pieces go out this last month with this box. Bunnies and eggs, all sizes of eggs, large eggs all the way down to little robin egg size eggs. Those little eggs, little carrots were really popular. The Easter chicks that say it's spring were really popular. The Easter bunnies with the little eggs that say hello spring and hello Easter. So if you guys didn't get any of that last month, or if you did and you want more, you can just let Courtney know and she'll add that to your invoice and I'll add it to my pouring list and we can include it in your box as long as it fits. Along with the new little Easter bunny that I found, and he's just a really plain Easter bunny, but he's really cute. So you could paint flowers and things on him too. You could do him as a metallic. You have access to a glaze, you could do him as a clear glaze with a mother of pearl on him. So all kinds of stuff to offer. Courtney's working on the Easter kits for the kids, which will be probably a piece of bisque, a little paintbrush, some paint that the kids you can get as kids projects for Easter or birthdays or anything like that. It's the same project, same kits that we had at Christmas time. Just in a shippable packaging. She's trying to get the packaging shipped out so they look like a nice little kit, yet it's still packaged safely because we got to get it to you safely. So I have my little bunny all base coated black charcoal, and I want to have these little white fleece specks here. We want to get those covered up, and they always seem to pop up after it dries for some reason. I'm just going to grab a little more gray and get that worked in there. The koi, yes, it wouldn't be a box piece. They're too big to go in the boxes, but I do believe they have a smaller one. And those are actually glazed, so I probably wouldn't be doing them for the subscription boxes. But after May gets here, I'm retiring from my full-time job because I've been there 27 years and I can retire instead of quitting. We will be working on other videos that will go on our YouTube channel, and you'll be able to watch them on there, and we'll have the bisque available. So hopefully that type of stuff is coming in the future as far as glazed projects and overglazed projects and all of that kind of stuff. So here's our little bunny. He's all pretty in his little dark gray. So we're going to sit out. There's another one. See, I turned it and found another little white speck. So you just want him nice and coated gray. So I'm going to sit him aside, and we're going to go back to our chicks. But first I'm going to wash out my brush, and I'm just going back and forth on my Harold's brush cleaner. We did stock up on these again. I think we might have been out of these, and the brush cleaner, gloss sealer. Courtney's got all that stuff ordered. Someone got a broken bunny? Oh no. Oh no, you should have let us know. We would take care of it for you. Oh, you just opened it. Oh. She'll have to have her send a picture. Have her send a picture of the bunny, and then we'll take care of it. We'll take care of you, Linda. Don't worry. So, well, we're bound to have one thing break after 8 months, 9 months. July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Oh, 9 months. It's our 9 months, you guys. So we made it 9 months without a breakage. So, hoo-hoo. But sorry it broke, Linda, but we will take care of you. Yeah, she wants to know what to do. Just send us a picture of it broken, and Courtney will, it won't be till Monday, Courtney, because I have to get them to you. We'll get a new one to you in the mail, Linda. So we're going to go back to our bunnies, or not our bunnies, our chicks. And now they need a little highlight in their eyes, and if you want to give them little eyelashes, we'll do that. So I have my black already on here. Does she have to claim it with the post office or anything? Or we'll just take care of it?
No, I can file a claim.
But we'll just take care of it, right?
I'll take care of it too, but I'll also file a claim. They're insured.
Yeah. So just message, Linda, just message Courtney and she'll take care of it for you. So now I have my black and I have my liner, which I grabbed my favorite liner, which I shouldn't have done. I try not to do that on live, but this is my Silver Falcon liner, which we were going to get more at the show, but now we'll have to wait till September. But this is my favorite liner. As long as I have the paint in it, I'm just going to go ahead and use it. So I'm going to make my eyelashes. So I'm going to anchor my hand on my table. And then I got my egg anchored nice in my pan. And now I'm going to rest my painting hand on my egg so that it's nice and steady too. And I'm going to go into my black part of my eye. And I don't come like all the way down, but like where you want your eyelashes to start. And you want to go into the black and then come out into the yellow. And then give it a little curl and lift up. And then we'll go do the same thing for, I'll do about 3 of them. And then we'll go on to the other side and do the same thing. So I try to line these up across. So again, I go into my black and come out to the yellow. That one's a little short. We'll do it again. So now he's got some cute little eyelashes. And we'll grab our little girl and do the same thing. Do you want to plug in the hot glue gun, Courtney? Sorry. Oh, so I'm going to paint eyes on the one that's already done. We don't want to do that. But here she's got little eyelashes, so we're going to give her some eyelashes. I'm going to put him on his stake so he don't roll around and smear his eyes. So we'll just do the same thing with her. And you can make them short ones or long ones, whatever you want. And then we'll come on the other side and try to do the same thing. Looks like I get a little short on this side. And now I got it a little long, so we'll have to make the other ones a little longer. So I'll just make the bottom one a little longer and then it'll match the other side a little bit better. So there we got some eyelashes. I'm going to wash out my brush. And I'm going to grab my ball stylus. It should be in here unless I took it home. Oh, here it is. Thank you. So I just have a ball stylus, and that was in our January kit, our January box, a set of ball styluses. But you can also order them on our Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque.com. They come as a pack of 3. Those are great to have for making dots, especially eye highlights. So I'm just going to use our OS431 white for the feed, Courtney, OS431 white. And it's just going to take a drop. And I'm going to go into my, I just have a little, one of the little styluses. I don't want a real big dot. So I'm going to anchor my hand on the table, my egg in the hand. I'm going to anchor my dotting hand onto my piece so I can have control of it. And I'm going to put a little dot at about, the 1 o'clock side of the eye, about 1/8 of an inch in. And we have a nice little dot there. The stylus makes it nice and easy because you can kind of get the same size dots doing that. Sometimes they'll get one a little bigger than the other, but you can go back and make the other one bigger then. So now we're going to do the other eye again at 1 o'clock. We don't want to do it at 11 o'clock or down here at 4 o'clock because then she's going to look cross-eyed. So we want to do both of them at the 1 o'clock or both of them on the right-hand side, or you could do both on the left-hand side. You do not want one on the left and one on the right unless you want her to look cross-sided. So we'll go here at 1 o'clock, just go straight down. And now she's got her cute little highlighted eyes. So put her on her little stand. And we're going to do the same with him. And let's see, his I put at 11 o'clock, so we'll do his at 11 o'clock. And I think I got enough paint. We'll just come and do the other one at 11 o'clock. So they're both on the left side, so he doesn't look cross-sided. So there we go. We'll let that dry now. Wash off my little stylus. And we're going to get out our chalk. And we're going to chalk our little, our cheeks. And you can seal it and chalk it, or you can chalk it and then seal it. If your chalk's not sticking, then you can seal it and then chalk it. But I don't want to spray in Courtney's house, so we're not going to seal it and then chalk it. So you pick which color you want for your cheeks. Like for my snowman and penguin, I usually use this pink color. For the chicks, I would use one of these 3 colors here, more of the rosy, like the rosy one. I'd probably use the one in the middle here. So I'm just going to grab one of my bristle brushes, or one of my round bristle brushes, and it's a Royal & Langnickel size 3. And I'm going to rub back and forth on my chalk, and then you can see it's, hopefully you can see it's starting to get a little powder on there. So you want to just rub back and forth and get that into your brush. And then I usually take my paper towel and just touch it on there to get, if there's a real lot surplus, so you don't have a real stark area. So you want to decide how big you want her cheek is. And I usually just start going around and around, and you can see it just goes on there really nice. And then we'll go on the side and do the same thing. And so now it's not rubbing in much there, so I'm just going to brush this one out a little more, get it rounder. Give it a little blow. I'm going to go back to my rosy red there, grab it again, touch it on there so I don't have too much, so that it's real strong in color at first. So I'm going to touch real light, and I'm just going around making my cheek. So I want to look at the other one because I want them to be about the same size. So this one's down a little more and not up as high as the other one, so I'm just going to work that in, grab a little bit. And we're going to come over this one and bring it down a little bit. And I'm going to brush that out because I just want to even it out here now. So there's our little rosy cheeks. So now I'm going to take a look at our questions. Courtney says we have a question.
Carrie wants to know if you have anything comparable to your Silver Falcon liner.
So Carrie wants to know if we have anything comparable to the Silver Falcon liner. Actually, these artist paintbrush liners are really good. We just tried those. This this Royal Majestic 4595 isn't as good as the Silver Falcon, but it's a pretty good liner. I would say the purple ones are better actually than the Royal Majestic one. I think this 50 is this the 50 one? The 50 script liner is the one I was using. I really like that one. We just got the short liner in. A lot of people might like that better if you don't like the long.
This is the script liner. It's longer.
So the script liner means that it's crippled in my paint can here. I got to straighten it out. So a script liner has more hairs on it. And I like that because you can load that paint in and go further.
That's the shorter.
So this is the 50 script liner. This is the 50 detail liner.
Tell the number.
It's 595. They're both. So 585 is this long script liner, and it has a nice little point on it. It's just it was in my paintbrush can all tipped over there. And then so that's the 58550 script liner, and I really like the script liner, which is what I would compare to the Silver Falcon liner. I would compare that to this one. You can see it's got the nice long liner on it too. But if you don't like the longer liners, you can go to our APB Artist Paintbrush, the new purple one we have, and it's the 595, and it's a 50 liner. It's the same liner except that the bristles are shorter. It's really hard to. Let's see.
Let it go.
See if we can get it to focus. Maybe if I use a piece of paper.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Let's see, will this work? There we go, that's a little better. So you can see the one on the right is a lot shorter. That's the 595 mini script.
No, sorry, not script, just
Mini liner. It's detail, isn't it? The detail liner. So that's the one on the right is the 595 50 liner, mini detail liner. The one on the right is the 585, the script liner, and that's actually the one I like with the longer hairs in it. Both these are really good brushes too. They're like, if I couldn't get Silver Falcon, this would be my next choice.
Which is an in-between.
And then we have an in-between one, which is the 250, which is it has even less hairs in it. It's a very thin brush, so that would be if it's I guess I would say it's the finest of the three, but it's also a 50 liner. So I'll see if I can hold all three of them at once here.
95 is what most people are saying they want. 595.
So let me get them lined up. So we have the 250. These are all 50 liners. And they're all the Artist Paintbrush brand. So let's see here. So the 250 is on the far right, and it's a very few hairs in it. It's very very fine. So if like little eyelashes, that would probably be perfect for it. Then we have the next one is the 595, which is the detail liner, which is a shorter hair again, but it has probably twice the amount of hairs in it as the 250. Then the one on the far left is the script liner, which is the 585. And the script liner is actually the one that I prefer, but I think everyone else would probably prefer the other two unless you've used the script liners. This would probably be a really perfect set of liners. I don't know, do we have a lot of these of all three sizes? No. Which ones do we have?
That 595, we have a ton of.
So the 595 we have a lot of, because we're actually going to bring those to the show in Ohio and give those away as a meet and greet gift. But that got canceled. So we'll probably take those to the Milwaukee show instead of the Ohio show. And the 50, the 250, the little skinny, she's got 12 of those. What about the script liner? And she's got about 8 of the script liners. So you could message her if you want them. Otherwise, they should be online, right? On the Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque.com. You can find them on there. But this would be a good liner set if you want a set of nice liners. One's really, really fine. One's, it's still fine, but it's not as fine as the other one. And then the long liner, that's just good for, it holds a lot of paint and you can go further with it. And you can get a nice point on it too. It's just it was in my paintbrush box and it's kind of crooked over here. But it's got a really nice point on it, just like this little one. So let me put those back. So I would compare this 595 script liner to my Silver Falcon script liner, which is a 10-0 Onyx. But I love my Silver Falcon. It's just that they're hard to get. We will get more when we go in August to Waukesha if they're there. We were going to get them in Ohio, but that show got canceled. So now we have our little cheeks on our little girl. And now we have our little boy. We're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to go back to my rosy red. Again, I'm going to dot it on my paper towel first so I don't have too much at one time. And I'm going to look where I want his cheeks. And just go around and round and build up my color. And go back and get some more. And we're just going around. You just work it into the paint. And if you were at this point and it just wouldn't take any more chalk, you could go and seal it with your matte sealer and then come back and build up your next level of chalk and then seal it again. But you really don't want that much color on your cheeks because they would be looking like apples out there. So we'll get a little more on his. Hers is a little bit bigger and a little bit rosier because she's a girl. We'll do his a little bit smaller and a little less rosier. So that's all there is to using your chalk. You can blow it so it's gone. Now you don't want to touch that because it'll come off until you seal it. So normally you could go and seal this now, but I'm not going to do that because I'm in Courtney's house. But now I'm going to put the chalk away and we're going to go back to the tail. So now in our little, we have 2 more baggies. One has our feathers and one has our bows. So we'll put our feathers in first. How are we doing on time? So we have 1 feather for the tail. Oh, okay. And then we have our little fluff, Courtney calls it, for her little hair. And this is actually a feather boa. It comes in a long string. So if you're looking for that, that's actually what it is, a feather boa, and it's just a long, like a 5-foot strand of it. We just cut it and glued the ends so they wouldn't fray out. And then you also have your little package of bow tie and hair bow here. So we have the pink and the blue. So I'm going to use the hot glue gun. You could use the E6000, but the hot glue gun just makes it a lot quicker. So once you've sealed him, I want to put his little rooster tail back here, and you can cut this down if you don't want it real long. Or so his looks pretty good just like that. So I'll just put my hot glue right on his egg here. And we'll lay our little tail right on there. Oh, this one wants to turn, so we gotta kind of low. So just get that on there. He wants to turn, but I don't want him to turn, so we're gonna put a little more glue on there. And let's see, the scissors, what did I do with them? I'm going to cut a little piece of this tail off so it's not sticking out like that. And there we go. He's got his little tail. Kind of let that cool. So we'll let him cool. And we'll go to her. And we're just going to take our little hot glue and glue our fluff right on. So I just put it right on the fluff, and I'm just going to hold it on here for a second, right on the top of her head. So this is nicer than the E6000 because it dries right away. And then we'll take her little ribbon. And I like to hold it in my fingers so I have the two little tassels, the little ribbons going down. And we'll put a little bit of glue on those and on the bows, and then it'll, that way it won't go anywhere. And it'll keep the little streamers held in place too. And we'll put that right up by her little fluff. And that just takes a minute. I'll push those down, the little streamers. That way there was glue on there. They won't go anywhere. And there we have our cute little girl. So there she is. And now we'll come back to our little guy with his little bow tie. And we'll put our little glue on the back of the bow tie. Just right on the ribbons pieces. It don't take a whole lot. And then we'll fold him, hold him up and put his little bow right under his little beak. And there we got our little chickies, our little boy and girl chicks. So that's really a cute, quick project. You could do this with your kids. Kids could easily do that using the nail with the eyes and the stylus. So there they are. Those guys are done. Part of the project already done. Cool. I didn't. I sprayed them with the matte sealer, but I didn't spray them because actually I probably used the satin on these. I didn't want it completely matte, so I did use the satin, so it has like the semi-gloss. I didn't spray the ones tonight because I don't want to stink your house up. So we'll set those guys aside, but you can see they're. Well, I love my little holder that he made me. I'm glad that worked out perfect. We'll have to get a price from him. Maybe we can offer them because those could be really handy. You can unplug the glue gun if you want, Courtney. So we'll go back to our little Easter bunny here. And we will go to our, let's see, we got some medium gray and then the regular gray. So we're going to work on our bunny. And I have our Duncan OS567 Ash. If you want to add that in the feed. Duncan OS567 Ash. So I'm just going to shake that up a little bit. So you guys had your first introduction to chalk and it wasn't too traumatizing. So that's good. We'll keep building away on that so you learn more about using chalk. We'll just go at it slowly. So I'm going to add some ash to my palette here. And we're going to get us a dry brush. Let's see, I think I took a bunch of them home on you, Courtney. I took, you know what, I took home the whole purple set. I have them at home. That could be. So I have my, I'm gonna use a flat liner. You could use a round liner. About a size 5 will work, or an 8. So I'm gonna use my Royal & Langnickel size 5. And I'm just gonna grab a little bit of my gray with the tip of my brush. And I'm gonna brush it out on my paper towel because I want a dry, basically a dry brush. And now I'm gonna go to my bunny. And when you dry brush, you want to dry brush across your texture. And you just brush back and forth. So I got to get me some more paint here. I'm just brushing out my brush. So I'm going to brush across my texture. So we have these little circles and I'm going across them. If I were to go with that circle, it would fill in the dark gray. And I don't want to fill in the dark gray. I want to keep it, that dark gray in there for the shading. So I'm just going across it. And so we're going to do that with the whole bunny, is go just dry brush back and forth. He has a nice texture, so it'll build up pretty quick. I'm not going to worry about my sign because we'll do that with the brown, but I started with the bunny because his texture is further lower than the texture of the sign, so that's why we're starting with the bunny first, because the texture is lower. Because if we start with the brown, then the brown is going to get on our bunny. So we're just going to start with the gray, and again I'm just going across, brushing back and forth. You want to do multiple thin layers. You don't want to do a whole big heavy layer at one time. You want to do lots of little thin layers. And you want to get underneath his chin and down in the little hole crevices, and just brush back and forth. And I usually start at one section and work clockwise around. That way when this area is drying as I work around, and then when I come back around, the front will be dried, and I'll just keep going around and around in this kind of the same direction. I'm just going back and forth, going across. So here we have our lines, our indent in our rabbit ears. So we don't want to go with that indent. We want to go across it. If we go with it, we're going to fill in our texture with the medium gray, and we don't want that. We want the darker gray in that shadow for the shadow. So now I'm going to turn him, and we're just going to work our way around. And just brushing back and forth. Not real hard. Just back and forth you go. Just bring it right down to the egg. Don't worry about if you get it on the egg. We'll be painting the eggs out. And sometimes you got to change how you're holding them so you can get to the different areas. I'm trying to hold it so you guys can see what I'm brushing. So sometimes I'm holding it a little strange. But I just keep turning him and going around. So now it doesn't matter which direction I go on the ears on the back, because there's no crevices that need to keep that dark gray in there. So we can just brush whatever direction works for you. Brush it right up to your sign. And just keep brushing out. So now that was kind of too heavy at one time. I didn't have my brush brushed out enough on the paper towel. But it's okay. We'll brush it out and get it even. That's about the texture I want to get to. But you can see that now any of the deep spaces there are covered in with the gray. There's none of the charcoal is showing through. And that's what happens when you get too much at one time. I'm just brushing back and forth. And there we go again. And again, I'm going to go across his little, where his arms and legs meet. I don't want to go with that line. I want to go across it, because if I go with it, it's going to fill it in. So like with his tail, you kind of have to work your way around it.
What's the number on the charcoal?
The number on the charcoal is 0S475. And we started with the charcoal. I didn't start with black because it's Easter. I don't want it too dark. So I just started with the charcoal. You can base coat and dry brush whatever colors you want. You don't always have to be black. You can use brown, blue. We're using gray. I don't want the black with the pastel colors. So I just have the gray will be good enough. So you don't always need black. Don't need to be black always. Just like I am using a darker gray though. So we're actually worked our way right around here. He'll go pretty quick once we get this layer on. I'm just going to get around his ears here. Work my way back to the front again. Get down in between the two ears. So did everyone see those new truck inserts that Clay Magic released? Was it yesterday morning, last night, and this morning? There's like 8 new ones. They have some really cool fall ones. We'll be ordering them when we order again, but I'm not sure when we're ordering because we just did order from Clay Magic. Not too recent, but we will be getting those because it seems like everybody likes those truck inserts. Courtney thinks there's 3 more coming. The Scarecrow one is really cute, and the Monster Mash ones are really cute. The new 4th of July one I kind of like. I like that without the teddy bear in it. So I'm just brushing back and forth across my little texture here. Getting him the next shade of gray, leaving the dark gray down in the shadows and then the crevices, which is going to give your piece texture and dimension and not look like a flat one colored piece. Just brushing. We're going to work our way around here, and then I think he'll be good. We can go to the next color. So he could be other colors too. You could have done a white bunny or a brown bunny. I just did the grays because I thought it would go good with all the pastel egg colors. I think the original one I did was cream and brown, and I didn't like it. So I switched to the gray. I like the gray better. Courtney liked the gray better. We're just going to get a little more on here. Brush back and forth, going across that texture, across your crevices, not with them. Right up to your sign. If you get it on the sign, that's okay. So you can kind of see, you have that nice shadow going in those crevices because that's where that dark gray is. The charcoal. So we actually worked our way back around here. Make sure we got his face right up to the sign and underneath here where his chin is. Down underneath those little feet that are coming onto the egg. And now we will grab our ash, which is our OS474. Courtney, if you want to add it, ash, or nope, sorry, gray, OS474. Duncan OS474 gray, and it's our light color. And that'll go on pretty quick. And I just got a little piece of that. I gotta take a drink, excuse me. Spring has kind of arrived here. We had tons of rain today. Huh? Really, Courtney says her daylilies are an inch tall. I think mine might be covered with a little bit of snow yet. So I just did my brush, and I used my same brush because we're in the same color family, so I'm not going to switch brushes. I just grabbed my gray and brushed it out, kind of worked it up in the brush. And now we want to get him with some light gray on him. Let's see, we have a question on the front. What is next to his chin? The sign, gray or brown. It's the sign. I painted it with gray, but we're going to be dry brushing it with brown. I can show you his picture. So we'll dry brush it with the brown, but it's just his sign. Yep. So I hope that helped. So now we're going to give him another little layer of the gray, and you can make him as light or leave him as dark as you want. You can see that light color goes on there pretty easy. I'm just brushing real light back and forth. And it goes a long ways too in the brush because he's got such good texture. Our Bisque boxes are new molds that we purchased, so if they have texture, they should have good texture because they are new molds. We want to be able be able to pour enough. And to do that, we have to buy new molds. You can't use used molds. And then they get wore out and then we can't keep pouring. So we do use new molds for our Bisque boxes. So we're just going to brush across our texture just like we did with the charcoal and the ash. Just back and forth. You can get them as light or as dark gray as you want. Grab a little more and brush it out. I think we're supposed to have snow overnight though, like 1 inch by morning, which I could do without that. But as long as we don't have ice, I guess it's all good. I'm just going to keep going, working my way around. So while I'm going around now, this front area is drying. That way when I get back to it, it'll be dry and it'll take more paint if I want it to take more paint. Just brushing back and forth. You can get them as light or dark as you want. Let's see, what else? Pouring stuff, trying to clean up the mold room a little bit. So I got molds everywhere before I trip over one and knock myself out. I have the slip. We got the new slip from the new company, which I like. Courtney or even Joanne, my sister, thought the pieces felt softer. Yeah, she thought they felt softer when she was cleaning them, so that's good. I don't know because I didn't get to clean any, so. So I'm actually pouring our April and May box because I'm pouring the mushrooms, butterflies. What else are we pouring? The fairies and the fairy house. Pouring some orders that I have locally. Counting the days off till I get to retire, which is in the 30s at this point. So I'm just brushing back and forth, getting in between his ears here too. It's okay if you get it on the sign, the brown will cover it up. You just want a nice even coloring. Get some underneath his little butt here. Bunny butts. And we'll just keep working our way back around. Just so he's a nice even gray colored bunny. He won't be a spotted one or anything. He's just going to be a one colored gray. Just trying to get the same degree of gray on him. So we got to get his little paw here on top. You see my pond is halfway unthawed across the top. So I'll be glad when that's all the way unthawed. I haven't wandered out there to see my fish yet. They're probably hunkered down underneath the bridge yet. But there's no floaters so far, so that's good. We had a pretty mild winter this year. So we got to go back and get this ear up here that I missed. And you want it?
There's no snow in Florida.
No snow in Florida? Oh, lucky you. Snakes and gators, though, I bet. Our last frost date is usually Memorial Weekend, so we could have snow up until then. We've had just 2 years ago we had a foot of snow, like on April. Like April 11th, we had a foot of snow overnight. It was, well, actually it was more than a foot of snow. Yeah, it was right up to the door, to the screen door, to the windows. And that was like on April 11th, and that wasn't last year, but the year before. So I could do without that. So I'm just going back and forth, getting my gray so it's a nice even color and not blotchy looking. Just brushing across my texture. Come back down here to his little belly and his feet. Looks like we need some more over here. So then you want to look at him and see if you're missing, like there's kind of a lot of gray there, so I must have kind of missed that a little bit. So we'll get a little of the lighter stuff in there. A little more on his hands. Make sure you get under his chin. And over on the side there. In between his ears. And we'll just go one more time around and make sure we got him nice and even. Okay, a little more up here. So now I want to take and add a little bit of some white. So, and I actually have white on my foil here, so I'll just grab my, I'm going to use my same brush, dab into my white and brush that out. Do it again. So now I want his little paws to be more white, his little belly to be more white, probably his little cheeks here to be more white, and then inside his ears. So I'm just going to brush on those areas in particular. Just get a little white on there. Grab a little more and brush it out. And again, I stayed with the same brush because we're kind of in that same color family yet. We didn't change to blue or purple. I'm just going to get his little footprints here, a little bit white. And we'll get a little on his belly, lighten that up. Seems like their bellies are always whiter. Bring it right up to his little chin and get it on his little cheeks. You don't have to do this. You can color him any color that makes you happy. Works. So we're just building up that white just a little bit, not too much. I'm just brushing across his face here. Grab a little white and we'll go in his ears. Now I am kind of going with my where the crevices are, but I'm actually staying away from the crevices. I'm more in the center part of that ear, just trying to get that whitened up. And then we'll go on the other one. Just kind of making little oblong circles here. Kind of staying in the middle of the ear. We'll grab a little more. Get his little face just a little bit whiter, a little belly a little more. A little more in the ear. And that looks pretty good, I think. Enough of a color just to give him a little more color and not so flat. And then we don't want to forget his little tail. I kind of like a little white tail. Kind of just on the center of it. That way you have your light gray and then your medium and dark gray. So that's about where we're going to let his little cuteness be. So let's see, we'll put this aside. So now we got his little face done. And we'll probably go now to our sign. 7:30. So we're going to go to our light brown we had, the way it looks. Or did we have medium too? Gotta look at my color list. We don't, just light brown. All right, so we're going to go to our light brown. And that's our OS467 light brown for the sign. Yep. We'll get rid of that paper and grab me a new one. And I'm actually going to use the same brush. It'll that gray is close enough value that it will work. I'm just going to brush that out. So we'll go to the back, and we're just going to brush back and forth, get our sign brown. And you can have some of the gray showing through so it looks like the texture of wood grain if you want. And up and down with my post here. You can go up and down too on the sign. So it's up to you, whatever you'd like. And you can let as much gray showing through as you want. I left a little bit because it looks kind of like the wood grains then. But I also used some chalk on it. So I'm just getting down in the side of the sign there, but trying not to get on my bunny. So I'm just kind of doing my little C strokes, building my gray up because that's a real smooth surface, and that takes a little more work compared to the textured surface to get that brown to build up its color. And I usually do those C strokes when I'm doing that. And we'll work our way to the front, right clockwise, just like we do with all the rest. So Cordy says we got a couple of questions. Let me take a look. What do we got? You see, have you ever mixed layers like a translucent over a solid? Or did a pearl finish inside animal ears? Yep, you can mix the colors like that. I haven't used the pearl finish inside on the animal ears. The pearl colors are really hard to get these days. Cordy says we do have the Mayco pearls, but they only make 2 of them, so that's all we have. There used to be lots of those pearl colors, but they're far and few between today. I believe the Fashion Hues has quite a few, and I'm working on getting Fashion Hues. We were going to bring some of those back from the Ohio show, so that's probably put on hold for right now. So I'm just dry brushing my little sign and getting it nice and brownish. I did use some of the chalk on the sign to get some of the darker brown into it as well. Instead of adding the another brown paint to the box, I just did use the chalk. And I'm just dry brushing in my little C strokes or half circles. And to get to my bunny, I just slowly edge my way so that I can see where my paint is without getting it on him. And that way I start away from him and I just edge up to him. That way I can see where my paint is and don't get it all over him. What? Courtney's adjusting the camera, you guys. Courtney says we look far away. So I was talking about the bunny because the sign is right next to him. I start away from him and do my little C strokes, and I just slowly edge up to him, and I can see where my brush, and that might be hard to see on camera, but I can see where my brush is putting the paint down, and that way I don't get paint all over my bunny instead of like brushing like this and getting it all over the bunny, and then you got to go back again. So I can do it on the back on this side. I start away from him, and I can see where my wet paint is. Down. So I start away from my bunny, and I do those little strokes, and I can see where the wet paint is, and I can nudge it right up to the line where the sign meets my bunny without getting all that paint all over my bunny. If I were brushing back and forth like that, my bunny would be all full of brown paint. So I'm going to grab a little brown and brush it out. Oh, I missed a question.
About your sister. Chris Bain.
So Chris says you're not dry brushing right. Well, actually I am dry brushing on this. We dry brushed on the bunny and we're dry brushing on the sign. The chicks were not, these were not dry brushed, they were just painted out. The eggs we will paint out, we really don't dry brush those, but the bunny we did dry brush, and now the sign we are dry brushing. And I'm just going into my paint and brushing out most of the paint that's in the brush so you don't see it on the paper towel barely at all. And then I'm doing my little C strokes, which is dry brushing. It doesn't matter if you're going this way or this way. When I'm close to the bunny's ears, I like to just do those little C strokes because then I can see right where my brush is and where I'm getting the paint without getting the bunny's ears all full of that brown paint. Because if I went like this, I'd have brown paint all over him. But if I'm doing these little strokes, I can nudge it right in the edge of that sign where I want it without getting it all over him. Same with down here, I can get it down in there without getting it all over the bunny. So it is dry brushing, it's just a different brush stroke. It's a C or a comma. I mean, whether you're going this way or that way, it's a C stroke or a comma or a half circle, whatever you want to. But it is dry brushing because I'm brushing my paint out and it's basically a dry brush with very little paint in it. So you can see I'm just nudging it. I can nudge that paint right up to the edge of the bunny, but it is dry brushing because it is a dry brush. I'm just not doing them long strokes that most people are used to when they're dry brushing, like I'm doing right there on the side, but there's plenty of room there. I don't have to worry about getting my bunny full of brown, but now I'm back to where the sign meets the bunny, and I just want to do little strokes so I can control where that paint is going, because I don't want my bunny all full of the brown paint, because then I'll have to paint him again. So now up here I can go all crazy and brush it like you normally are used to for dry brushing. But that was dry brushing, it's just more detailed dry brushing. So I hope that helps explain that. If not, say no, I don't get it, let us know. So I do want to let some of my darker gray where my sign and my post meet, because that's my shadowing of on my piece there. So again, I want to do my little brush strokes here to get my post brown, but I don't want to get my bunny all full, so I'm just doing little strokes. They don't have to be those big strokes. Now here it's a little bigger because I have more room. Through here I got more room. I can do those bigger strokes. But now I got to turn it because I got to get this post next to my bunny. So I'm going to actually rest this on the table. Hopefully you guys can see. Tip it a little more. And I'm going to do those little strokes again, but it's still dry brushing, but I can see where my paint is going without getting it all up on my bunny. Because I don't want him full of brown paint so that I have to paint him over. Same with the bottom here. It's just more controlled. Okay, I'm glad that helped. Great. So it's dry brushing. It's more control of your paint because it's such a more detailed piece. It's not like you're doing a big black bear and the whole piece is just black and browns. We have this little sign. You'll see even when I show you the fairies at the end, they're actually dry brushed and there's lots of detail on those. You just have to switch to a smaller brushes and do those little, if you start away and just slowly nudge over with your brush, you can see where that paint is and you just got more control of it. So I'm just working it right up to the bunny's ears without getting the bunny all full of that brown and having to redo him. now I can go back to those big strokes and go across my letters, because I don't have to worry about the bunny. There's no bunny there to worry about getting the brown on. And usually when the surface is real smooth like that, I like those C strokes. It just blends that paint into that piece more. The straight strokes like that are really good for the areas that have lots and lots of texture. But if you don't have texture, you kind of got to blend that paint down into that smooth, flat surface. And we got to get across the top here too. What? Oh, well, stay safe, Ray. We'll probably have tornado warnings in April. That's usually when we get those. So I just nudged towards my Easter bunny ears here on the top, because you want to get the top too. But now I can go my nice long strokes the rest of the way on the top. I don't have to worry about getting that brown paint on anything. There's nothing there to worry about. Across the back here too, it's the same thing. I hear it's raining yet, right? I can hear rain. So I'll have to drive home in the rain, but that's better than the snow and ice. See, we have lots of birds migrating. We see lots of pictures on Facebook of the trumpeter swans and the geese, and I seen a robin last week, and redbirds, red-winged blackbirds. So I'm just building up that brown, that light brown a little more. And we'll be able to put some of the dark brown chalk on there. We'll give it some wood grain with that. Just want to work a little more down here. So you can see where the gray is a nice base coat for the Easter colors, because you kind of don't want that black. That's just too strong of a color for the pastel colors. So I'd like the grays for the Easter base coating colors when I'm dry brushing. So we'll look at the top here and get that done. That was a little wet, so I got to brush that out. I'm going to nudge a little more towards the ear there. You could switch to a smaller brush too if you have trouble with this. Just switch to a smaller brush, and they come really, really small. You can see this one is a size 0, and that was actually in the boxes last year, the Royal and Langnickel dry brushes. So if you've been subscribing all along, you'll have the littler brushes, or we have them available on Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque too. So we got that done pretty good. That's about where I want it. So now we can switch to our Happy Easter sign. I used purple because Courtney likes purple, but you can use any color you want. So I'll use our purple. Courtney said white would probably look good. I like the colors, the blue or purple. I would have used blue, but you like purple, so I used purple. So I'm just going to use my OS567 purple. If Courtney wants to add that to the feeder line there. I'm going to shake up our purple, and it won't take a whole lot of this. OS452 purple. Man, I'm going to get my silver Falcon nail or liner, which I grabbed already. That's just my little go-to brush. So now I'm just going to anchor my Happy Easter right on the table because I want to be nice and firm, and I'm going to anchor my hand right on him, my painting hand, and just fill in those little letters. And it's pretty easy because it's got the little indent in it. And we'll just color out our letters here. You could have left it the gray too, but I think with the Easter we kind of want some color on it. So you can always switch colors. Don't feel like you have to paint the colors that I painted. Paint the colors that you like. Make what you like. So we're just gonna go with purple because Courtney likes purple. And if you get it on the brown, you can always come back and touch that up. So it don't have to be perfect every brush stroke. You learn as you go. So I'm just sticking the brush right in the, it goes really easy because there's a groove there from in the mold. So it kind of wants to just ride right in there. The biggest thing is you don't want too much paint on your brush so that it's all over the place. So I do like the script liners because you can go pretty far with the paint in the brush. A lot of people are afraid of these things, but once you use them, you'll get to like them.
What's like the best way to practice with them?
So Courtney asked, what's the best way to practice with them? Just use them. Just use them. I mean, this is a perfect practice here because you kind of have that groove that the brush naturally wants to go into. So we'll just get our Easter painted out with our purple. Courtney's yawning over there, you guys. Yep, it's been a long week. Got our hoppy all done there. Well, at least it's Friday tomorrow. Oh, our special cactus mold arrived this week. A friend of ours went to New Mexico this year for winter. And they weren't coming back till April, but because of the virus going on, they came back this week. So they had gone to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and picked up the 15-inch saguaro cactus for us and brought it back along with the base. So I can't wait to see it and pour it. And so would you guys put the traditional flower lights in it, or would you put the Christmas twisty lights in it for make the cactus Christmas tree? I've seen it both ways. Huh?
Flower lights are hard to find.
Yep, Courtney says the flower lights are hard to find. They are hard to find, but you can get them. So I'm not sure if we should get the twisty lights to put in them or the flower lights to put in them and to light it up. Courtney says get both. Oh, sure. I'll get right on that.
We have no twist ones already.
We have some twist ones, yep.
We have all 3 sizes.
I guess we can try them and see what we like. We'll have to order the flower ones. I don't have any of the flower ones.
Yeah, those flower lights.
I think the flower lights or the twisty lights would look more like the Christmas tree type of thing, or the.
To me, it looks like a southern Christmas tree, like a Florida Christmas tree.
You think it'd be more of a southern tree with the flowers in it? No. So I can't wait to get that poured. We do have one, a smaller one that's like 5 inches. I think that's the one I shared the picture of, and then there's like a 3-inch one. And then there's the barrel cactus that's about 2 inches. That's the size on those. I shared that last week. Or maybe Sunday after I was feeling better. I went downstairs.
Oh, those little guys?
The little guys, yep.
I think we should make them as ornaments.
Cordy thinks they'd be good ornaments. Would you guys like cactus ornaments for on trees? And then there's the little coyote that goes with the one that's like the 5-inch tree. He's about 2.5 inches. So they came home early, so they're back, and we need to get the mold from them. But now it rained today, so Cordy didn't get over there to get it. But we'll be getting it. So there's my little Hoppy Easter. I just want to make sure I have enough, that the purple is dark enough. And that my lines are all about the same thickness. And that looks pretty good, so I'm going to wash that out. So now I notice I actually got a little bit of purple on a couple places, so I just touched my liner brush in my brown, and I'm just going to touch this up a little bit so it's more neater wherever I went out of my little lines that I don't like. So that looks pretty good. So you can touch it up a little bit. Okay, that looks good. We'll wash that out. So do we want to do the eyes or do we want to do them last? I generally do the eyes last. Huh? What? Probably could zoom out. I think we'll switch to our colors. So I used pastel colors, and each color is painted out. You don't have to use these colors, just like the bunny. If you didn't want him gray, he didn't have to be gray. But I'll probably paint mine to match. So I'll start with our, looks like I had medium blue on the polka dotted one down here in the corner. So I'll grab some medium blue. That's for this one here. So we have medium blue OS457. Medium blue OS457.
Terrible.
My assistant's not getting the feed line there at all. I don't know what we're going to do with her. We can't fire her. She's all I got. Oh, medium blue OS457. And I need me a brush. Let's see. I don't want such a big one. I'll grab our size 5. I have a size 5 round nylon liner, and I'm just going to go into my blue. And I want to just base coat my whole blue, basically base coat the whole egg blue. And I kind of want to be neat about it because the pastel colors, you don't want to have to be doing tons of layers to cover up the next color where you overlap each one. So you kind of want to be kind of neat about it and not too messy. So I'm just going right to where the eggs meet. So you guys could probably do all of your base colors on your eggs, whatever color. I mean, you don't, like I said, you don't have to make them the same colors I did. And then next week we can I'll do the dry brushing and some of the dots and stuff, and then we can do the shading with our chalk, and then we can do our eyes. And then we will have time to do some of those extra egg techniques that we were going to do. So if you guys want to comment on which of the 3 you think you might like. And then we'll have extra eggs if you want to purchase extra eggs and any of that extra Easter bisque again in the box like you did last month. Because it's still Easter. Easter is, I'm not sure on the exact date, I just know it's in April. There's too much going on to keep track of everything. So I'm just doing my medium blue. So I basically use the darker color of each color to base coat the eggs. So like the turquoise eggs is base coated with the dark turquoise and then highlighted with the light turquoise. The purple one is with the purple. The pink is with the Azalea. So that should all be on those written instructions that you have if you want to stay with the same colors. But again, you don't have to. We're easygoing. If you want to paint them all purple and just do all different purple designs, just do all purple then. It all works. So just brushing back and forth to brush out my paint. You want to brush out your paint, get in all your little crevices. So our next, the April box is our fairy house, the Dragon Villa fairy house. And then our fairies are Larkspur, and I think the little boy, well, the little boy is Larkspur, and I think the little girl is Daisy. She's holding a ladybug. April 2nd, it's that early. And then you always want to do your bottoms as well. So you want to get in, make your bottoms look as pretty as your tops. And I go on that inside rim as well, so it looks nice when it's sealed and someone picks it up and looks at it. We'll just brush that out. And we'll come back and see if this is, now it dried and I have some white lines. We're going to brush it out, give it another little coat. What?
Did she want that? Or did you say that?
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was turquoise. We use deep turquoise and light turquoise. What, I don't know what color. Aquamarine is probably a.
Similar.
It's probably similar. Sure. I mean, you can use any colors you want. I just base coated them with a darker pastel color and then highlighted them with the lighter pastel color. So if that helps. So let's see, I think I have one more blue one on here. Let's see, do we? Yep. This one back here is blue too. So we'll get this one blue as well. And I'm just going right up to where the egg meets the other egg. Brushing back and forth. And a nice smooth egg, so brush out your paint so you don't have ridges and valleys, and ripples. And bring it right down to the back, or the bottom, I should say. And I need a little more blue. How are we on time?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Well, that's pretty good. We did good. We got our chicks done. I thought they were a cute little project. Be a good kids project too. Just something besides the normal Easter egg. We're just going to get another little coat on there and make sure we don't have any white showing through. So if you want, you can base coat all your eggs with their darker pastel color. And then we will get a little extra piece of paint on there. we will highlight them next week with our dry brushing and paint our little designs on some of them, and then we'll shade them with some chalk as well. So you could have also color washed this whole piece with the gray and done dry brushed it, and that could have been your shading. But we have the chalk in the box, and that's what I wanted to use for the shading, and I just wanted to introduce that just with the shading to start with before we do a whole piece, so that we'll do the shading with our chalk instead of the having the color washed as the shading. And we'll start with it slow so you guys don't get frustrated with it, because the chalk can be frustrating. So I can see blue, white through my blue, so I'm just giving a little more blue as I have it on my foil here. Brush it out good. So I think we'll stop at the blue, and I'll show you your next box. I'm going to lay him down so he can dry on the bottom. Wash out my brush. Make sure you always close up your paints. And then we have, I got these guys painted this week. Let's see, where did they go? So we have our April box, and that's going to be our Dragonfly Villa. So we have the dragonfly up here on the top, and there's some glitter. The brush-on glitter is on there, so you'll be getting a little sample pot of that to use. We have our ladybugs, mushrooms, and a snail. We have some more mushrooms on the back. So these pieces are dry brush. We'll be back. We're going to dry brush these. So this is our Dragonfly Villa Fairy House. Then we have our Larkspur, which is our little fairy. He's about 4.5, maybe 5 inches tall, and it's all dry brushed. We have the brush-on glitter. Trying to see if you can get the light to show it or not, but he has the brush-on glitter on his wings. We have the silver paint on his shovel. But he is all dry brushed. I did use the smaller brushes. And then we have our little girl, whose name I believe is Daisy, and she's about 5 inches tall too. And she's dry brushed as well. And we have the darker pink here, and then we kind of have like the ombre effect where it goes to the light to white. And she has the brush-on glitter on her wings as well. And we have gems ordered that will be extra in your box as well to go into her little gem holders here. And they're little rainbow gems that you'll be able to glue in. That'll be part of your extra. So that's our little fairy girl and boy. Yep, there's mushrooms on the back. He had mushrooms too. She's got the little ladybug. So that's our girl and boy, and we will be dry brushing them. And then we have our little fairy house. So it's a cute little set. And Courtney will get that posted this weekend, she said. So there they are. This is our April box. It's cute. We'll have the little extras in it, the glitter, and then the little the brush-on glitter sample, and then the little rhinestones, and we'll see what else, because Easter is in April. So if you are a subscriber, you're already signed up for this box. If you want to be a subscriber, you can go to Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque.com and sign up. If you want a one-time purchase, just the April box, Courtney will be posting that too as a pre-order. By Monday, she said. Then we're a little bit behind on messages because we tried to get all our supplies ordered this week with the coronavirus going around. So we had to get a lot of planning figured out to get all the supplies ordered for April, May, and June, and as well as getting the taxes figured out, getting everything on Excel so we can get to the accountant. So it's been a busy week, but we got all our supplies. So boxes are a go. Will.
If you want to know if that can go outside.
So someone wants to know if this could go outside. It can go outside. I suggest bringing it in for the if you have freezing temperatures for the winter. So yep. If you do put it outside, you'd probably want to reseal it every spring when you put it back out, or every other spring at the least.
Do you use like that special UV spray or whatever?
No, you can just use the regular sealer. So yeah.
Helen wants to know, what was the very first piece you ever painted, and do you still have it?
Well, so someone wants to know what the very first piece was that I ever painted and if I still have it. I don't have it, but I remember what they were because I took a class. I took a class in Hawaii, and you had to learn how to pour 4 pieces and then paint those 4 pieces. So you could go to the Army craft shop and use the shop. So one of them was a pirate mug because we used underglaze on it. One of it was the little Chinese good luck man. What is he called? I don't know. The Buddha, a little Buddha, and that had the acrylic stains on it. And the other 2 pieces, I don't remember what they were. One would have been a glaze, underglaze, and then the acrylics. I don't remember what the 4th thing what might have been. And no, I don't have them. That's 40 years ago. Cordy asked, did I give them away? Probably threw them away. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. That's too long ago. It's 40 years ago.
We forgot to draw for that giveaway.
Oh, Cordy says we forgot to draw for the giveaway for the brushes.
Okay. I'm going to have you pick a number, but I got to see how many comments there are.
You gonna do it now or you want to wait?
We'll do it now.
Courtney's gonna do it now quick, so hold tight, you guys. We're gonna do the giveaway for the brushes. So Courtney posted on Wednesday last night. We have new brushes, and it's the Nylon painting brushes from Artist Paintbrush. It's their special brand that they had created. We already had the dry brushes, and the dry brushes are also going to be coming in your May through December boxes, but now we also have the nylon round painting brushes. And these are really nice brushes, great quality. They're not the beginner's quality. These are made to last longer. So they're not the best brush out there, but they're really, really good brushes, and they're not the beginner's brush either. So they come in the round. We have 8, 6, 2, or 4 and 2. So that's a nice set of rounds. And Courtney's going to print something for us quick so we can do our drawing. And then what do we have for the liner brushes? We have did we just get the 8, 6, 4s and 2s?
So that's a set.
This is a set here. Yep.
Or they can get it individually.
Or you can get these individual. So these are just nylon round painting brushes. Like we're painting out our eggs we painted out the gray on the Easter bunny. So these are the nylon brushes that you use for that. Then I believe she's got some liners on there too, and we already talked about those, but that's a limited quantity on those. But we can order more because we need to order the brushes that we were going to pick up at the show. We'll have to have them shipped to us. So if there's interest in the liner brushes, send us a message and we can add it to the order. These are the dry brushes that we have that are the Artist Paintbrush. These are really, really nice brushes too. I don't know where this one came from. I probably brought it. I brought some back because I thought I had them all. I brought them back home, back with me tonight because I had them at home. They were. You gave them to me last time to use here, but then I took them home when I took my container home. So their brushes are really nice because now I just washed this and you can see that it's not all spread out and crazy haired. It still has its nice, beautiful shape to it. It like sprung right back into shape. They are all purple handled, so that's an indicator of their brushes, Artist Paintbrush. They're just really super brushes. We're really, really happy with them, and we're so happy that we're going to put them in your boxes from May through December. So you'll be getting one. You'll be getting, these are actually the 4 nylon brushes that you'll be getting, and then, right? No? Oh, they're only getting dry brushes? I thought they were getting 4 of each. Or not 4 of each. Oh, it's the round ones. I'm sorry. I messed up. Go back. You guys are getting the dry brushes. You're getting the flat dry brushes and the round dry brushes. Maybe we can do the round ones, the painting ones next year or something. But we wanted to go to a better quality dry brush. We had the Royal and Langnickel last year, which is a good beginner set. They last a good long time too. These are just softer, and they spring back into shape better. So like this would be really good for doing those little spaces of dry brushing. So the dry brushes are what will be in the subscription box. You'll get 1 in May, 1 in June, 1 in July, 1 in each month. And you'll have the, it'll be through May through December. It'll be the round and flat dry brushes. But if you would like to purchase the round nylon brushes, we do have them on Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque.com. Maybe I'll have to try these round ones out too, huh? Could they? That's my set. Yeah, I'll leave them here. I won't take them home. But this is the batch I brought from home because I didn't know what I had here, so I have to take some of these back home with me. So, but this ball Stylus stays because I took that out of the pot. So she's cutting up you guys' names that commented on the paintbrush post. Don't forget about your nail, and you just go to the Walmart or the hardware store and get different sizes of nails for making your eyes. That works really, really well. It's a good little easy tip, especially if you have kids doing projects. You could just have them use those nails to make eyes. As long as the heads are flat, it'll work pretty good. Let's see, does anyone have any questions?
Oh, the prize is the 595.
Oh, the prize for commenting is the 595.
They get one, and the friend that they take gets one.
Okay, that's a nice little brush. So if you commented on the post and you tagged your friend, this is what we're drawing for. Let's see if I can show it to you. It's the Artist Paintbrush 595 50 liner, and you will get one, and your friend will get one. So it's just a nice little detail liner. It's from our new line of brushes, Artist Paintbrush, with the purple handle. It's a nice liner. I think you'll really like it. So you will get one, and your friend will get one. So Courtney thinks she's got everybody here, so let me stir this pot up. And let's see, am I drawing one name or 2 names? One name and then their friend. Okay, here goes. Cross your fingers, everybody. We have Debbie Say Loveless and Glenn Teresa Vaughn. So congratulations, Debbie and Teresa.
I'll reach out to
Courtney will you can reach out to Courtney with your mailing address, and she will get the brushes in the mail to you. So we have Debbie C. Loveless and Teresa Vaughn. And we have a question yet.
Do you remember Duncan fog spray?
From many moons ago. No, I don't remember the fog spray, no.
Sounds cool though.
No. No, I don't remember the fog spray. I know they used to have, Gary used to have an outside sealer that was really, really nice. It was put like a rubber coating on your product, but that's not available anymore either. So there we go. So I hope everyone had a great night. I hope you guys have a great week. If you would like to subscribe, go to Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque.com if you want to purchase the subscription, or if you want to do the one-time box. Courtney will have that posted by Monday. We'll get caught up on messages. It's been a busy week again trying to get our supplies figured out so we can make sure that we have the supplies for our boxes to go out. With the coronavirus going around, toilet paper was a shortage issue here, major, big time. So everyone's under a little bit of stress, but we got through the week and we got you guys with your painted and we got our April box ready for you to see. So have a good week, everyone. Stay healthy, stay home. If you have any questions, let us know. Thank you. Bye.